Hey there, and welcome to the UkeStuff channel and to this review of the Enya Smart Concert Ukulele. It's made out of HPL high pressure laminate, which is thin sheets of paper with a final mahogany print on the end. They also sell this in a koa, and they typically sell for about $120. This one, for some reason, was on sale recently at Amazon for $60, and although I'd seen some other people review them, they were sent them from Enya to review, this one was not. I just decided that I wanted to take a look at it, especially since I have a first generation ukulele. And coming soon will be a comparison between this format and the ukulele, and a little bit about the software too. Although the software that comes with this I do not believe is Enya's own. They're connected with a whole nother service called Uke Musician. And I'll try to address that a little bit as we go on in this review. So in my reviews, what I try to do is I try to look at subjective issues with the ukulele, and then I look at objective issues, what's all the data behind it, and then finally I come back with a final review. So that's what we're going to do, so let's dig into it. First of all, the cost, $120 for this, and basically what you get is you get Enya's standard HPL concert ukulele, and then if you know anything about the HPLs, they actually bolt the neck on, and you can actually remove the neck. People have done that to travel. Even Barry Mazet, God Ukulele, has done that with one of his sopranos. And went on a vacation, took the neck off, stuck it all in a suitcase, and traveled with it. So this holds true of this ukulele too. You can remove this particular, basically looks like a strap button, and the whole neck can remove, which means that if you had another neck, you could actually swap it to be a not smart ukulele. You just have to change the strings on the top. So it basically is their HPL standard mahogany ukulele with what's a smart neck. And as you look inside there, which we'll do in a little while, the whole piece is a unit that comes out. There's nothing on the side of the ukulele. It's other than you've got your strap button there and your major connection point there. So $120. It was on sale for, again, like I said, $60. This one is no longer available as I'm looking right now, but the koa version for $10 more is, and might be worth looking at, especially since it's within a stone's throw of what a normal HPL would be. In terms of value, it's a pretty good value even at $120. Not only do you get this smart neck that connects with Bluetooth to your phone, Android or iOS, but you also get, again, the typical Enya package of great stuff. Some of it's a little overkill, but most of it is pretty good. So you get the charging cable, and again, kind of a neat thing about it, it is a micro USB, so it's not USB-C, it's just standard micro USB, but it's got that angled charger, and where you charge it is right here on the neck. You'll see that later when we take a look at the instrument. So it charges that way, and then the button is right down here. If you don't know it, you'll never see it. So unlike the ukulele that has this giant control panel right here, you would not know that this was a smart ukulele just by looking at it, and that button is so minor down there that, you know, it kind of surprises you. And in fact, as you look at the front, you can see the fretboard markers there. See those? Those are actually LED lights, kind of a neat function. The only thing that gives it away, really, is that there's a little blue dot that'll light up down there. I don't even know if you can see it with the reflection of the ring light. But if I turn it off, hold it till it's off, and I turn it back on, and you can see there are no fret markers. Maybe I hold it at an angle like this, it's better. Turn it on, hold it. You'll see it go through its check, and then its default is to give you the fret markers at 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, and 17. That's pretty ingenious. Once you connect it to Uke Musician, you get kind of like two lines, and then it interacts with you. So as you go through the app, it lights up where your fingers are supposed to go. Now, we'll talk more about, again, the software a little bit later. So other things you get. Not only do you get the charging cable, they send you a capo, they send you a finger shaker. You know, those are the two things that are overkill. If you play the capo, it's not a problem. I don't play this one very often because I can play in most keys. So again, I don't think it's a bad thing that they send you either one of these. They're fun, but they don't really add much value for an ukulele player for the package, but it's nice that they're there. And then, I'll put those down, you get Enya's normal ukulele strap, which is great. You know, it's not overly wide, functions really well, so no complaints there. And you get a set of Enya strings. And I remember how early on we complained about Enya strings, but either they changed the formulas or something, but I don't mind them anymore. And in fact, I put them on some of my other ukuleles. So they're fluorocarbon strings. I don't have any complaint about those anymore. Early on, I really did. On my X1, my little, or not my little round, I think it's the EUR X1. The first time I played those strings, they were so just not tight. They were just loose feeling, even at pitch. So I don't have that problem anymore. So I think they changed their formulation. And then you get a pretty nice gig bag. It has this kind of weird cross zip that goes all the way around it. And if there are any negatives, I'll just give you two real quick. I'll put down the ukulele here as I'm talking. So two negatives. One is it doesn't have a tab to hold it. That's always really nice on the bags to be able to hang it. You do have the option to switch which side you want to clip it to, but then it also doesn't have a zippable pocket. When I did the first unboxing of this, I was like, where's the pocket? Well, there's a pocket. It's right here, and it goes actually pretty deep, but at the same time, you can't zip it shut, so things could potentially fall out of it, especially with the way that the bag goes. If you didn't have it zipped up all the way, it could actually end up out of the bag. So two real minors, but still, what you get from Enya in terms of bag is pretty amazing, and always has been. They do a really good job with their bags, and other companies would charge you quite a bit for an equivalent bag. So to have an entry-level ukulele with that nice of a bag, with all that stuff, is pretty good. And then to add the smart technology on top of it, at its current price of $70 is amazing. At $120 is still a really good deal, so I think you get your value. The build quality is typical Enya. Enya just is amazing at their standards of quality. I have now bought quite a few of Enyas for my school, and I think I'm well over 30 Enyas now. Everyone has come set up just right. Everyone has not had sharp fret ends if they could have sharp fret ends. For example, the Enya Nova cannot have sharp fret ends. It's a plastic / carbon fiber mix ukulele, but and this one has again a plastic fretboard, so it should never have sharp fret ends, and it's just really good. Now, in the 1 minute ukulele review, I talk about how there's a sharp edge here, and another ukulele person, another company that makes ukuleles out of HPL, I won't say who they are. When they played my little EUR X1, that was their one criticism with it, was that this edge is really sharp on your arm, and they're not joking. So that person's suggestion was to work around the corners with a super, super, super fine sanding block and just sand the edge and smooth it out a little bit as you play. So that's something to think about. Don't over sand it because you don't want to separate it, right? But just that's a good idea. You can also see the black material of that HPL. It doesn't look normal in terms of like a laminate, as you know. So if you haven't seen HPL, this one really is that dense black on there. So build quality is just excellent. Now, we'll take a look inside. Let's go take a look inside and see what's happening on the inside. All right, let's take a look inside the Enya. You can see that it has two braces, one there and one there on the bottom. I'm going to turn up the lights just a little bit here so we can see a little better. Not too much, but just a little bit. There we go. You can see some glue seepage there on the sides, but notch kerfing as you go along, notch kerfing, a little more glue up there. And I love that you can see the singular brace that runs down the middle, and you can see how the strings are tied on to the Enya with their pull-through bridge. So it goes through to a bridge plate and then out the top of the HPL to the saddle and then up to the tuning pegs. So that's how that looks. So there's that bridge plate there, and then as we pull out, if I turn down the lights a little bit, you can see the brace that happens right underneath the sound hole there. All right, let's flip the ukulele around and check out the top part. All right, so you can see the sides, a little bit of glue seepage, not a big deal. You've got your Enya control unit for the smart ukulele. If I turn up the lights a bit more here, you'll be able to read that, see where it says smart ukulele. And then just that there. Now, as we pull out, if I turn on lights again, you'll see the other supporting right there, brace, standard wood brace that goes across. And then right up here on the top of the fretboard, or right at the bottom of the fretboard if you want to think about it, that's the charging port for the Smart Ukulele. And that would be the Enya Smart SE Ukulele. Okay, so we're back. Really, the only complaint is that there are some spots where the glue is, kind of seeped out. And realistically, if you didn't stick an inspection camera in there, you would never know. So it's not a huge deal. It's not a huge mess, but it's, just overall really, really well built. Now, in terms of appearance, these things are pretty plain. I mean, and the thing that's really nice about this one, you do get this shiny fretboard, so maybe that would give some people a cute clue later, but let's say you learned everything that OK Musician had to offer. That's the app that goes with it. Later on, you would not have to do anything with this fretboard at all, and you would still have an ukulele that just basically looked like an ukulele. Unless you bring attention to it, people generally aren't going to know that this is a smart ukulele. So there's something really nice about that. In fact, people will probably get caught on the body more than they will the neck at any point, or the fretboard. So it's very plain. There is no rosette. There's nothing special there. But of course, you do have the smart neck. The headstock is, Enya does some interesting things with their headstock. It has that kind of swoopy Enya logo, has their little smart ukulele symbol, and it's actually kind of tall, kind of a tall headstock, making this one a little bit longer than some other ukuleles, but it's fine. It looks attractive. I like it, but it's plain. Now, in terms of availability, this one isn't available right now. I'm filming this basically in late June 2020, and it's not on Enya's own webpage here in the United States, and it's not on Amazon at the moment, but the Koa version is on Amazon, and it's on sale. So if you're interested in one of these and you're watching this in June 2020, probably order one while it's still on sale before it goes back up to $120. In terms of playability, I think overall it's very playable. The neck, kind of a more round profile, so and it's not super thin, so it's kind of got that feeling of, again, the baseball bat feel. It's not super thick, but it's it's not especially ergonomic or anything like that. But the things that I did notice is the bridge and saddle are definitely curved. And as I look down the frets, it looks like there is a slight radius. So it seems to be, this is another kind of true of a lot of Enya's HPL, is that it's got a radius fretboard. The action is perfect, ultimately. The string spacing is pretty wide for, again, it's a 36 millimeter nut up here, but spacing is about 29 millimeters from G to A. Pretty comfortable, no complaints. So overall, it's very, very playable. No complaints there. Where some people have an issue with it is the volume. So that's as loud as I can get that to go. I have so many more ukuleles that are louder than that. And ultimately, for some reason, Enya HPL models tend to be a little bit quiet. I even felt that a little bit with their laminates. Now, it's a good sound. I like the sound. And what I'd like to show you is what that looks like on the harmonic spectrum as I play the instrument. So let's go take a look at that right now. All right, let's take a look at TonalEnergy Tuner, and we're going to look at the harmonic energy here. So I'm going to hit the chord, and we'll see where it hangs out. So you can see there's a lot of response in some higher harmonics here. So generally, the fundamental pitch is holding on, but you can also see that some of the harmonics are clearly cutting through. One more time. So it's a pretty sound with a lot of chime, but it's just not loud. All right, so that covers pretty much what we talk about in the subjective categories of the instrument. Let's talk about the objective data. Also, I made a little video showing how I measure these if you're interested on this instrument, so that one will be published soon too. But let's take a look going from start to finish. It is a concert instrument with a scale length of 14.875 inches, not quite 15 inches. It has 18 frets, and it does have side position markers. Generally, it doesn't have front position markers until you turn the power onto the smart ukulele, and then it has that. So it's your traditional double bout ukulele with HPL mahogany print, soundboard, sides, and back. The fretboard is smart, so it's plastic and LED. The bridge, I'm not sure what the bridge is made of. I'm hoping it's Richlite. I couldn't find the specs for it, but it is a pull-through bridge, and I think it does have a radius fretboard. The nut and saddle are composite, and the cool part is that the saddle is definitely compensated there. The finish is satin. The overall length is 24.5 inches, not counting the strap button down there. That extra long headstock kind of adds to that. And it weighs 1 pound, 7 ounces, and is nicely balanced. It has closed gear tuners that say Enya on them, which is pretty nice. The action is very low at the first fret, less than 0.5 millimeters, and the action is spot on for what I look for, 2.5 millimeters at the 12th fret. It's like perfect. The nut width is 35.81 millimeters, so basically a 36 millimeter nut, with spacing between the strings at the first fret of 8.85 millimeters, going to 28.92 millimeters G to A. So basically 29 millimeters wide G to A. And the depth at the third fret is 21.51 millimeters. It's not really thin, it's not really thick, it's right in the middle, but definitely that C shape of sort of like holding a baseball bat in your hands. Let's talk a little bit about software. I'm not going to go into that with great depth, but Enya has partnered up with OK Musician. I do not think they're the same company, and I went through a few of the lessons. I think the lessons overall are really well done, and if you had a starter, they could watch those lessons and play, particularly in older starters. So maybe someone in 5th grade or older, middle school definitely, and adults would probably benefit from it. The app listens to you play and it rates you. Sometimes it's going to hear you correctly, sometimes it's not. That's where your tuner is, by the way. So if you wonder why Enya didn't include a tuner with the package, it's because it's part of the OK Musician. If you didn't have one of these instruments, like if you want to go check out OK Musician, you can, but then you have to subscribe to it. That subscription comes free with the Enya Smart Ukulele. I'm not sure for how long, if it's a year or what it is, but simply when it sees that you have the Smart Ukulele, it just lets you in and gives you access, which is really nice. I think the lessons overall are really well done. I went to the intermediate level just to see what was going on, and things were being taught in sort of a different way. So I'm so used to finger picking my own way, but they were doing a 2-finger pattern like that. And as I was listening, I was missing notes and things, which makes sense. It's supposed to pick that up. But then I went on to follow the lesson on the key of E, playing in the key of E. And that's where you have to deal with the dreaded E chord. They didn't even try covering the 140 E chord. They were dealing with the 2444 or 4442 E chord. And they were teaching it with the 3 fingers across. But then, I'll even show you a picture of this. I caught it. The person showed how to play an E chord with just that part, but then reach over with your thumb. I have never seen an instructor teach how to play an ukulele chord with a thumb ever. So that was like, okay, did not expect that. So other than that weird E chord, overall I think the software does what it's supposed to do, and I think it's a nice pairing. And of course, as you're looking at the chords on the screen, it lights up on the fretboard. Now, this does lead to another question, which is, isn't that self-defeating? Isn't having the fretboard lit up not doing what you're supposed to do? Well, in theory, yes. You should be able to play without looking at your hands. You can even practice blindfolded, right? So C, F, C, G7, C, E minor, B7, E7. You can do that with your eyes closed. You can practice like that. But in reality, when I'm playing, I actually am holding my ukulele, as up and down as I can, right? In my bigger scheme of things, because I'm not going to awkwardly hold it like that. But as I'm holding it, I can get an angle view, and I do look at not only the side markers, but occasionally, if they're there, I do look at the front position markers to help me position myself. Now, we don't want to be staring down like that when we make chords, but as you're first learning, it's probably not a bad technique. And then to have the ability to light up your fretboard and do fun designs with it after you've got it. That's kind of fun too. So, oh, by the way, the other thing that it kind of does is while you're playing one chord on a song, it flashes where the next chord is supposed to go, and that can be kind of confusing too. Like which one am I supposed to go? But again, it's another tool. It's another way of learning. So if you have someone that traditional learning hasn't worked for, turning them loose with something like this that really isn't that expensive and it's durable, I think it might be good. So, nice app, nice ukulele put together. So, let me summarize everything. These have been out for a while. These are not new to the market. Enya has had these for at least a couple of years, but it's just really within the last year that they brought these to the US finally. The implementation of this is just wonderful. They've done a really nice job of it. You don't have the weird things going into the body. It's all in the neck. It's really brilliant. And quite honestly, most of it's right here, as you saw in the video, right underneath where the neck joint would be, is where generally the brains are for that whole Bluetooth receiver to light it up. You don't have an output jack, so you're not going to be able to project this out to an amplifier, but you have everything else. Again, just like with the ukulele, I do wonder if Enya couldn't have done two things at once. What if you could do a pickup and the smart ukulele all in one at the same time? Something to think about. So maybe for an Enya Smart Ukulele version 2, they could do that. Now at its core, again, this is just a standard Enya HPL ukulele built to their exacting standards. There's hardly anything wrong with it other than the fact that it's a little quiet. It comes with a great kit of stuff. It's well thought out, well put together. It's worked for a lot of people. And then the thing that I really like about this is that it will function well as just a normal ukulele long after you need the smart functions from it. Now, to be honest, I have wanted an Enya HPL concert ukulele for a while. I just haven't bought it yet. And this gave me an opportunity at about the same price point to get into one. So what I would say to you is this. At $120, this is a great deal. At $70 for the Ko version, just has a slightly different print, it's a steal. So if this is interesting to you at all, you should get one while they're still definitely on sale. Finally, the thing that I do is I rate ukuleles from 1 to 5 ukuleles, or 0 to 5 ukuleles. I haven't given out any zeros yet. And this one I would rate as a 4. And I'll give you 2 reasons for that. First of all, the volume issue I think is significant because you could lose yourself in a group. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful sounding instrument. It's great for home practice. You're not going to disturb anybody while you're just quietly playing to yourself. But in a group or a jam, you might not be able to hear yourself, and that does actually become a concern. And then the other thing generally also is the price point, and knowing that you can get into just the standard HPL concert, which is probably going to serve more people generally than the smart ukulele. Because if you're looking for a second instrument, you probably already know your chords. Now, there are some things in the software that can help anybody along the way and just challenge you with some different ways of thinking, and that's great. But for most people, probably the standard HPL, which would normally be quite a bit cheaper, would probably be a better way to look at as an instrument, really, if you're interested in an Enya HPL model. So I think 4 out of 5 is pretty accurate. You could definitely mark it up another half ukulele if this is of interest to you. It's definitely a recommended ukulele that you can look at. So thank you so much for watching the video, and I will be coming back soon with a head-to-head comparison with this and the version 1 of the ukulele. So thanks again for watching, and I'll be back soon with some more UkeStuff for you.